Hi, my name is Erin, and I'm the author of a creative memoir. This is a story about my crazy life. I have been all over the world. I've been through multiple tragedies, and ultimately I decided to write this book as a healing journey. However, I ended up being able to write it through the lens of my favorite South Indian goddess. Her name is Saubhagya Sundari. And it's essentially a story of moving from tragedy and extreme trauma and depression and loneliness into a place of hope and love and being able to fully taste life again. This book explores the intersection between individualism and community. It also explores the intersection between feminism and the world of relationship science. Although I don't speak to the science in the book, I let the stories speak for themselves. I actually believe that if we want to deal with the mental health crisis that we have, especially in the West, especially in America, that we have to be able to dance between the polarities of individualism and relationship, and also feminism and sociocentric culture. I was inspired to write this book because I've wanted to write a book since I was 8 years old. I actually used to sit on the floor scrawling out pages, just not afraid to write books when I was 8. For some reason, I forgot that I had that ability until my 40s, and I started to have the desire again. I also was inspired to write this book because the last year of my life as a trauma survivor and a single mother and a person who's had chronic illness and all of these things, to get hit by the pandemic right when I was just starting to get my career going, and then to have it fall apart again was incredibly hard. It was incredibly lonely, and I found that by starting to write again, I was basically keeping myself company, and it was incredibly therapeutic. This book includes stories and insights from the view of an American woman. I was a pretty typical Midwestern girl with tons of potential. I did all this gymnastics, and I was in clubs, and I got straight A's, and I was on homecoming court, and all of these things. But basically, what happens to women in our country when we have a lot of potential, but we don't have the society support and the emotional support to be able to move through really hard circumstances. I work with a lot of women who are surprised when they get to their 30s and they have children to find out that the cards are actually stacked against them, and that it's not just about following your dreams, that we actually need a lot more support than that in our culture. The coolest story that I can share is one of when I was 25 years old. It was also extremely traumatic, but I was a graduate student in civil environmental engineering and studying climate change, and I got to go to Antarctica to collect samples in a long-term ecological research project. Unfortunately, a few months before I left, my little brother took his own life, and I was in such shock that I did not know how to handle it, and I didn't have the right tools at the time. I had already gotten deeply into yoga, and that was my main resource. But unfortunately, when I got to Antarctica, my marriage at the time also fell apart. And then I also was a part of a team of just graduate students where we had to rescue 2 men from a helicopter crash that happened out at our campsite. So it's a crazy, crazy story. It's also the first time that I fully woke up and started to feel into my own potential. My name is Erin Keeley, and I am the author of House Arrest: The Making of Crazy.